Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Juan Rodas. Today we have midfielder Lauren Markwith from the Guatemalan national team and also from University of Miami. University of Miami, correct?
Yeah.
How are you, Lauren? Everything well?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Well, to start off, if you could talk to us about your childhood in Huntington Beach, California, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, I grew up in Huntington Beach, which is a beach town. So obviously I grew up going to the beach a lot. I surfed, I played beach volleyball. And I played a lot of sports when I was younger. And then I kind of just loved soccer. My older sister played before me, and I grew up watching her. And then right when it was my turn, I was so excited. And I just started focusing on soccer and beach volleyball. And then in high school, I just decided I needed to focus on one sport, and I chose soccer because I loved it.
Yeah.
And then that is when I decided to start taking it seriously, and I wanted to play. I knew I wanted to play professionally at some point, and definitely go to college and play at a university.
Most definitely. Something that us the fans don't know about Lauren, something probably apart from soccer.
Tell you something? Is that what I said?
Yeah, something apart from soccer.
Well, I mean, my whole life has been soccer. So, but like I said, I played beach volleyball when I was young until high school, and I played on the U.S. under U17 team I don't remember, but I played for one of the U.S. teams for beach volleyball. So that was pretty cool. I went to a USA camp at the Olympic Training Center, so that was really cool. So I was pretty competitive at beach volleyball.
Yeah.
And I think it actually helped me with soccer because you played on the sand, so it just made you quicker on the field.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like training. But yeah, so I love sports.
Yeah.
That's kind of basically something I guess you don't know.
Yeah,
but.
For sure. And then what's your favorite type of music and food?
My favorite food is sushi. I love sushi. I'm a huge sushi fanatic. Every type of sushi, like not just California rolls. Like I like actual like sashimi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Music, I am open to all types of music. After moving to Miami, I like reggaeton and a lot of Spanish music more because that's what a lot of people listen to here. And growing up in like Southern California, there was some of that, but Miami's definitely a whole different culture. So I definitely like that a lot more. But I like all types of music, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a most embarrassing song on your phone or no?
A most embarrassing song? I still listen to Justin Bieber's, but I guess I'm a little embarrassed about that. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. What league would you like to play in, and why?
I want to play in the English Premier League, and I would also love to play in the NWSL because I've grown up playing with a lot of the girls who are in the NWSL, playing collegiate soccer against them. So that would just be, I feel like it's one of the highest levels you can play at, and obviously in the U.S. and maybe like in the world. And I would love to play in the NWSL. Just like I said, it'd be such a good competition. It kind of I played in the ACC in college, which was like one of the top conferences in the country. So it's kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
And then English Premier League because I love traveling. I love going to new places, experiencing new cultures, and I would love to play in somewhere in Europe. And I feel like it's a different style of soccer than here in the States. So that would be super cool. And I feel like it would just help me with my game and add a different perspective to my game.
Most definitely. And obviously being a center midfielder, who has been the toughest forward you have encountered throughout your career so far?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Well, like I said, I played in the ACC, and we play such good girls. I'm trying to think. Who did we play that was just... I'm trying to think. Honestly, every team we play has amazing forwards, so it's a lot of defense, but I'm trying to think of the top. I played against... She wasn't a forward, but she was a midfielder, and she kind of played attacking mid when I was playing. But Lindsay Horan, I played against her, and she was phenomenal. She was really good. I played against Mallory Pugh. I don't remember if she was a forward or if she was playing wing.
Yeah.
I played her in club, and she was amazing. She was great. Yeah. So I played against really, really good girls. I'm trying to think. If I think of any more, I'll let you know. But those are just to name a couple of really good girls I played against.
For sure. What are your short and long-term goals? Because I imagine you have some.
Yes. My short-term goal right now, I guess, is to deal with this challenge of the coronavirus and how it's kind of challenged me training-wise because they've closed a lot of the facilities. They've closed my college campus, so I can't lift. I can't go on the field with touch the ball and practice shooting. So short-term goal is to find a way to get my touches on the ball, stay fit, and just keep up my training, basically, for when I go play and play in London. So my long-term goal, I would say my first long-term goal is to play in a semi-pro league and just get as good as I can, and then eventually continue to play at the highest level I can until my injuries prevent me to. But one of my long-term goals is, besides soccer, is kind of still with soccer, is to be a sports broadcaster for NWSL team, MLS team, EPL team, any type of soccer. I want to stay with the sport because I love it so much, and I want to be a sideline reporter. So that's for sure my long-term goal.
Yeah, most definitely. And out of the goals that you've scored, which has been your best goal that you've scored?
I scored a goal against Pittsburgh my sophomore year, and we weren't having that great of a season, and we were all kind of in the slumps, and we really needed this win against Pitt because they were one of the teams we were expected to beat, and we were just not being able to score. And I remember I was still pretty young. I was a sophomore, so I was not an upperclassman, and I was playing and I was starting, so I was super excited just to even be out there with all these top players. And there was a corner, and I remember not starting. My coach didn't start me that game, and I was pissed, but I was like, whatever, I'm going to make the most of it when I go in. So she put me in, and there was a corner, and then I headed it, and it went in the goal, and we ended up winning that game, and it was like our first win in the ACC that year, and so it was something to get us going for the season. And I remember being just so excited and so happy, and it was just, I feel like that was a goal because it just, as like I said, I was a sophomore, so it just gave me more confidence in myself. So that was one of my favorite goals.
Most definitely. Do you like to dance or sing, and why?
Oh my God, I would definitely say dance. I am a terrible singer. I feel like I'm so bad at singing, so I love to dance. Like I said, I love music and I love dancing, and yeah, I would definitely pick dancing over singing.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any phobias? Something that scares you?
Oh, I am scared of heights. I'm very, very scared of heights, but I want to go skydiving, and I know that kind of contradicts what I just said, but I really want to go skydiving, but I'm really scared of heights. I'm actually on a balcony right now, and I can't stay too close to that just because I'm scared.
For sure. What sacrifices has Lauren done to be where you are now?
Oof, I would say a lot of sacrifice. I feel like anyone who has played up until this level, college, professionally, you make so many sacrifices. When I was younger, I missed a lot of dances, school dances, proms. When I was a sophomore, I moved to Guatemala for a while so I could train with the team and play in these tournaments. So I missed a lot of classes. I missed so many classes. I had to do my classes online, and I was without my friends and my family for months at a time. So it was a lot of sacrifices. I missed birthdays. I missed holidays, and you kind of continue to do that even in college. You give up a part of your social life for the sport, and I wouldn't, looking back since I finished my senior season, I wouldn't change it because it was just an amazing experience, and you have all your teammates, so it's you give and you take. But yeah, you definitely sacrifice a lot, but I think it was all worth it. If I could do it again, I definitely would.
Most definitely. And if you were to have dinner with the legendary midfielder in your position, who would it be with and why?
Oh my God, it would be, female or male?
Female.
Female, it would be definitely Carly Lloyd, because she is just a monster and a beast, and she has the best mentality I think I've ever seen in a soccer player. She's still playing at her age right now, and she's at her prime. And I read her book that she wrote, and she just talks about mental toughness, and I think that's such a huge part of the game as well. And I just love how her approach to training and stuff like that. So I definitely would love to have a lunch or something with her and just ask her so many questions.
And it might happen being a sports broadcaster.
I know, exactly, right? That's exactly. You meet all these amazing people. It would be awesome.
Exactly. And then if you could also talk to us about why you chose Miami, because I did my research and it seemed like you had various other offers, obviously to stay in California, but why Miami?
So I grew up in Orange County, so it was kind of I would say it was kind of like a bubble. So first of all, I wanted to get out of that. I had offers at like UCLA, LMU, stuff like that. And I wanted to play, like, obviously UCLA is a top-notch school, and it was in the Pac-12. But I definitely wouldn't have started as a freshman or a sophomore. I probably would have had to work my way up, which I was okay with doing. But I wanted to, you only have 4 years. So I wanted to start right away and play. And I was fine with, obviously, with working hard and earning your spot. Yeah. But I got recruited from this lady named Mary Frances Monroe, and she, at the time, she was our coach, and she had connections with, like, the U.S. team. She coached for the USA team and stuff like that. And I came to visit. I had no idea about Miami. I loved the culture. I loved it here. It reminded me of just, like, being in a different country, because there's so many different people here, like, so many cultures. Like I said, it's like kind of like a melting pot. Yeah. I really liked it. So I wanted to get out of California. I needed to experience something different. And one of the main factors I chose Miami, or University of Miami, was because they played in the ACC. So you played every single game. Yeah. And it's just, like, we would play teams in basically who weren't in the ACC, and they were, like, top in their conference. And we would beat them. Like, it was not even, but then you play in the ACC and you play against these teams, and it's just, like, every time you just got better. Like, I played against Diana Castellanos, who's, like, so good, and she, like, I played against her 3 times. We were lucky enough to play FSU every single year, and she is a world-class player. Like, I think I just only got better from playing against her, and it was exciting for me. Like, I'd rather go and play a hard game and knowing I could lose, and go in and play an easy game and just breeze by. So that was, like, a really, really important decision for me. And they also had really good academics, and they had a good broadcast journalism program, so that also factored in. But soccer-wise, it was just probably the coaching and the confidence.
Most definitely. Have you always been a midfielder or not?
Yes, I would say I've been a 10 spot attacking midfielder. In college, I played a little bit of a holding mid, and I've just kind of moved around, like, attacking, holding mid wherever my coach really need me. But in club, I played a little bit of, like, outside wing, but I prefer playing 10 spot in the midfield. That's my spot.
For sure. And then obviously being part of the Guatemalan national team, and obviously playing at the University of Miami, who has been your best teammate on the national team and Miami?
Oh. In Miami, I mean, it's so hard to pick one. Yeah. I would say my best teammate, probably Tia Dupont, because she's my roommate and also one of my best friends, and she is one of the most fit people I've ever met. So she always, like, when we were training, she would just push me to, like, she's definitely faster than me, because she plays forward, so she's really good at sprinting. Yeah. So when we would do sprints, she would just push me, and she's a really good person to train with, and I've done that for 4 years with her, so I feel like she's just always pushing me and stuff like that. And then Guatemalan, it's so hard because there's so many, and they all help me in different ways. Yeah. But I would say the closest person I'm to is probably Natalie Chaps, because
goalkeeper.
She goes to FGSU. Yeah. We played her, and last time I went to Guatemala, her family was so kind enough to take me in so I could stay with them while I was there in training and stuff. And so I've just gotten really close to her, and she comes to Miami sometimes, and we'll grab dinner and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely her whole family has just been so kind and unbelievably nice. But so many of the girls, like Aisha, all of them, we all stay in contact, and we all talk to each other, and, like, just great.
For sure. And then obviously being in quarantine, I'm imagining maybe University of Miami sends you something, like exercises to keep in shape, or no?
Yes, well, since I'm a senior and second semester senior, technically I'm, like, done with the team. So I was still, when we were in school, I would still optionally, like, go on my own to train so I could stay fit and stay everything. So yeah, I asked, they wouldn't usually send it to the seniors because some of the girls don't want to play, but the seniors who, like me and a couple other girls, want to keep playing, so they send us the workout packets, and we just do them on our own. I do a lot of running, obviously. You need to stay fit, but I just do, like, I try to stay inside, but, like, it's safe to go outside and go on a run and then come home, and I do that. I have to do touches inside, so, like, pass the ball against the wall, just juggle inside, stuff like that. My friends will pass back and forth to each other. I mean, not a lot of space, but we'll just try to do as much as we can. But yeah, the school definitely sends us workouts to do.
For sure. And I'm imagining finals and possibly Netflix as well.
Yeah. Finals. Well, finals. Since our classes are online now, I don't have that many finals just because I'm a senior. But so that's been nice. But I do. Yes, I watch a lot of Netflix now. I do. I've watched a lot of Netflix, a lot of movies. But it's been fun.
Yeah, most definitely. How is it being American and also Guatemalan at the same time?
Oh my gosh, I think I'm so happy that I am two different cultures and not just American. But being Guatemalan, I've grown up, my whole family, like a lot of my family members from Guatemala, immediate family came to the U.S. So I've grown up in that kind of culture, like Hispanic American. And I, like Christmas, my grandma makes tamales and stuff like that. And we grow, like, my mom made sure to raise me to not forget
your roots.
My roots, my other half of myself. And like I said, when I grew up, we took so many trips to Guatemala to see my other family, to my mom to show me like exactly where I'm from and stuff like that. So I think it's been such a blessing that my parents raised me to embrace my both cultures, not only my American side, but also my Guatemalan side.
Most definitely. What part of Guatemala have you visited?
I visited, obviously, the city because that's where we train. I visited Antigua. I visited Tikal. I visited where are these black sand beaches? Been there.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay. I visited a lot of places. We kind of like did like a road trip one time I went, but we definitely went to Tikal to see the ruins. I've been to Antigua. Beautiful. I've been to Antigua multiple times. Beautiful there as well. Been to the city. I also went on a mission trip. I took my club teammates and we came. Wow. I brought them because I wanted to show them how beautiful and amazing Guatemala is, and I wanted to share it with my fellow American teammates. So I brought them on a mission trip, and we built stoves and chicken coops for some people in villages and stuff like that. Wow. And then I also took them to Antigua to show them that side of it because it's also so beautiful and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's great. How did that all come about?
Well, me and my family, we started an organization called Strike for Better Futures. Wow. So obviously, I am so lucky and so blessed to have grown up in such a privileged life. And obviously, I want to give back to people who are less fortunate. So I started collecting soccer shoes, uniforms, and stuff that people from my club and high school didn't use. And I would send them to Guatemala to give them to kids who obviously love to play soccer and they just didn't have the resources and stuff to do that. And then I was like, why don't I try to organize a mission trip with some of my teammates? I've told them I gone before by myself with my family and we've done it. And I was like, it would be so great for these girls because they love soccer and they want to share their experiences with other people. So we kind of went and I organized it and I kind of partnered with the federation, kind of. And I went and held clinics for a lot of the girls in the villages, girls and boys in the villages. Yeah. And then we did a little scrimmage against some of the girls at the federation with my club. So it was really awesome. Yeah.
Most definitely. And then obviously, if you were to be in quarantine, what would you do in your free time if you didn't have homework, if you didn't have training?
What do I do? When I was with my family, we played a lot of board games, which was fun. Yeah. But now when I'm by myself, I just watch a lot of Netflix, honestly.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then, do you remember the first pair of cleats that you ever owned or no?
Yes, they were these little red pair of cleats, and I would wear them around, and they were just I think they were an Adidas pair of cleats, red cleats. I was really, really young. Yeah. I just remember because my mom, they would always be like, oh, the girl, that's my little girl with the red cleats, and I remember just wearing those. But yeah, they were little red cleats.
For sure. And then if you were to choose, would you play the final in the Champions League game or play the World Cup?
Oh, World Cup for sure. Yeah. Hands down, World Cup. That would be insane. Even to go and play in the World Cup, that would just be a dream. A dream, for sure.
For sure. Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
3 years. What am I, 23, 26? Hopefully I'm playing at one of the top levels at the NWSL or EPL or something like that. And hopefully I've also made strides in the broadcast world, because you can do two things at once, I think, and made a lot of connections, and hopefully have like a podcast or an online show or YouTube or something like that, where I can interview other players, and so that's where I see myself. 26, that's where I see myself. Hopefully I have my master's as well, so hopefully,
for sure. Well, and obviously as a little girl, when you were, was there someone that you admired?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I still have it in my room, but I remember when I was little, my dad took me to, I think it was like a Nike store, and we got a life-size poster of Mia Hamm, and we hung it in my room. And like, obviously I was a little bit too young to watch Mia Hamm when she played like in like the 99ers. Like, I think I was born in 97, so I was like 3, but I still kind of remember it. And they obviously replay a lot of the games, and I would just watch Mia Hamm, and I read her book as well, and I just remember being such a huge fan of hers. And I had that poster on my wall, and like I would look at it every day and just be like, that's who I want to be. And I still have it in my room to this day. Actually, it's still by my bed, so when I wake up I see Mia Hamm. It's kind of like, that's still my goal. I still want to do that. So that is definitely my idol. And she has 2 girls, I think. Or I know she has a daughter for sure, and she played for like one of the local clubs, so she would come to a lot of like games and stuff. So it was really cool to be able to see her.
Most definitely. And then how many languages do you speak?
I speak 1.5, I would say. I definitely speak English. My Spanish is mediocre. I'm working on it.
For sure. And obviously, how was your experience so far at the University of Miami, How was it?
Oh, I'm so, like, obviously, like I said, I was in between schools. I actually committed to go to UPenn because it was an Ivy League, and I was like, if I go here, I'm set for the rest of my life. But it was definitely a less competitive soccer school, so I was kind of choosing academics over soccer. And I'm so glad I came to Miami, because it's kind of, I would say it's balanced, but the soccer was definitely higher level than other places, than Penn. So I'm so glad I came here, and it's just been, like I said, it's been a dream here. You get to experience different cultures, and you are in the sun, and it's always great weather, and you're playing against top teams, and like I said, academics has been going, like, it's great. So it's just been a very, very good fit for me. So I'm really blessed that happened for me.
For sure. Favorite game with your team?
Favorite game. We played FSU, and obviously they're like, UM and FSU have this huge rivalry. We hate each other, and they are ranked top 10 in the country. Like, I think they were top 2 in the country at that time. And we weren't ranked at all, and we were playing them, and how did it go? We were down 1-0. We were down 1-0 or something like that, and we came back and won in overtime, double overtime. So it was golden goal. So when you score, it's over, basically. So I remember, like, I was in the midfield, and my friend passed it to me. So I was part of the play. I didn't score, but I was part of the play. And I remember, like, we were playing against, like, Diana Castellano. She was on the field, and we won in double overtime. And it was just one of the greatest wins, because it took so much hard work to come back and beat them. They were top ranked. The stadium was like filled. There's so many fans, and then we won that game, and then they ended up winning the national championship that year at FSU. So it was, and we were like only a couple. I think they lost like 2 or 3 times, and we were one of their losses. So it was just a really good upset, actually. So it was one of my favorite games ever, because we were the underdogs for that game for sure.
Most definitely. Toughest moment in your career?
Oof, toughest moment. I would say, I mean, I have kind of 2. My first was when I was a sophomore in high school, and I had to choose if I wanted to go to Guatemala and leave my friends with my family and see, like, if I could make the team. Like, I didn't know if I was going to make the team or not, and I would have had to leave all my family and friends. So it was a tough decision for me, but I ultimately, it's like, I love soccer, and I want to go pursue this opportunity, and I'm so glad I did. And then the second one was my coach who recruited me for college. She got fired my second year there, end of my sophomore year. and me and her were really, really close. Obviously, she recruited me. She was the one who wanted me.
Yeah.
And then we had a new coach come in, and she just had like a different approach than the other coach, which is totally fine. You always have to like adapt to your coaches.
Yeah.
But it took some time for me to adapt to that coaching style.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely tough for me because you just, you get recruited by someone who really, really wants you there, and you build these bonds with them for 2 years, and you have like this plan for the rest of 2 years, and it kind of just gets hacked, and you just have to adapt and kind of move on and just figure out what you're going to do next.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And do you have a ritual before a game or no?
My ritual before the game, I listen to music. I can't eat before like an hour before the game because I'm like one of those people who just like don't like to do that. I'm trying to think what else I do. I listen to Lose Yourself by Eminem before every game. It's kind of like a thing I do.
Yeah.
I watch, I go onto YouTube and I type like Messi top 10 goals. Yeah. And I did that my first 2 years of college, and then I started making a highlight tape for when I wanted to play professionally. So I got a bunch of my top moments, and then I started watching that before every game, like when I was a sophomore until when I was a senior. So it would just give myself confidence before every game to know like, all right, I've prepared, I can do this. Like, these are your top moments. Like, go out and replicate this on the field. Yeah. So that's what I did. Started doing my sophomore year to senior year.
Wow, most definitely. And obviously now talking about the Guatemalan national team, how did you find out that you were eligible to play for Guatemala?
So it was weird because I know a lot of people do it now. Like, I know a lot of girls who are American, who play the Mexican national team, Jamaican national team, Canada, stuff like that, English national team. But like when I was younger, I was really in my area. I was one of the first people to do it, I think. And I remember talking to my club coach, and I was like, should I do this? Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of people don't do it. I'm kind of nervous. Yeah. And he was like, no, go do it. It'd be so fun. It's such a good experience. You'll learn so much. And I remember I had to get, because I wasn't a dual citizen at the time, I had to go get my Guatemalan passport. So I had to go to the consulate. And I got my passport and everything. And basically, then I was eligible to be a citizen. And I went and played. So, yeah.
How did you feel?
Oh, my God. I felt awesome. I felt, because like I said, I grew up being raised as American as well as Guatemalan. And it was so nice. It was just, I was so happy because, like, you don't know if you're going to get the citizenship. You have to, like, do a bunch of stuff. So, I mean, you could get denied as well as get accepted. So when I got accepted, I was just so excited because I was so excited to go play and, like, represent that side of myself as well. So, yeah, I was very, very, very happy.
For sure. And if you could talk to us about how was your debut, singing the national anthem in front of people. Like, how was that?
It was crazy. I remember, who did we play? I think we played my first game. I think we played Jamaica, and we had I remember walking out, and I was like, I think I was like 15. I was so nervous at the time, but I was like, oh my gosh, like, I want to do well. I want to represent my country well. I'm so happy to be here, but I'm so nervous. I don't want to do bad, obviously. Yeah. And then I went out there and I got to start that game, which was really cool because, I mean, it was just everything that I worked up to this point for, and I got to start and just like say the Guatemalan national anthem and everything, and it was just incredible. And then we also, like, it was funny because the first tournament we played against the U.S., so it was like, wow, I'm playing against girls who I know and girls I played against my whole life, and then I'm representing Guatemala at this time. So it was so crazy. And we all stayed at the same hotel. Yeah. So it was cool because a lot of the Guatemalan girls on the team were like, oh, do you know the U.S. team? Like, do you know some of the girls? Like, can you introduce us? And I was like, yes, of course. So we all kind of just like blended together and just like chatted and talked. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a favorite game playing for Guatemala? I imagine so.
Yeah, well, my favorite game, I would say, is biased because I scored, but it's not really my favorite game. Yeah. It was I scored in the last. I literally took so many shots that game because I wanted to score so bad, and I didn't score till like the 90th minute. Yeah. But I would say, like, that was my favorite game because I scored, but I mean, it was obviously an easier game. I would say my favorite game was when we played the U.S. when I was U17 because I think in the first half it was only like 1-0 and we were doing really, really, really well. And since I knew a lot of the girls on the team, I knew the US coach because he was recruiting me to go to UCLA. And so I was like, I was pumped up. I was so fired to play against them. Like I wanted to show him like we're good too and everything. And then like we were doing so well in the first half. I remember I was like, yes, we can. We're doing so well. And then second half, it kind of just like fell through. A lot of the goals, I would say. I don't know. I think our goalie was not having her best game. Let's just say that. Yeah. But it was still. I still think it was a really great game, and we played really well. And Aisha almost scored against them. I remember in the first half, and it was awesome. So yeah, that was one of my favorite games.
For sure. Favorite memory on the pitch playing for Guatemala?
Oh, my favorite memory was definitely when I scored because it was just like all of it came together. I think it was a banger from outside the box, and it was just like I said, it was the 90th minute. I've been shooting the whole game, and I was just like, I need to freaking score, man. Yeah. So that was definitely one of my highlights or my favorite memory.
And would you want to play again for a Guatemalan national team? Obviously, now you being 22, you play for the actual team.
Full team, yes. No, I would love to. I mean, I played for like I said, the under U17, U20. I would love to play official games and tournaments with the full team for sure. Like I said, I wish I would have played in the one in October, and I think it was October, but I was in the middle of my season for college. But definitely, when there's more tournaments, I will definitely. Hopefully, they call me up and ask me to play. But I'm definitely there to play.
For sure. And then, obviously playing with the U17 and 20. What difference was there? Maybe seeing the support from the federation, maybe within jerseys, equipment. Like was there a difference? Because obviously, with the old federation, it was completely different compared to now.
Yes. So I mean, obviously, there's a difference. I can see the difference because I played in the U.S. And they have a lot of support for women here and a lot of resources and gear and everything. So. Even when I was like 15 and going to Guatemala and playing for U17, I was a little bit shocked because I was a little shocked, but it's a lot different than in the States. And I remember going into the gym where we trained, and I was like, wow, this is the gym. Like, this is all you guys have for your gym. Yeah. And they're like, yeah. And so I was like, wow, that's so crazy. So it's just crazy to see the difference. But I think. So when I played it for the same, with U17, U20, it was like the same year. So it was like the same support from the same support for the federation. But when I went back this year, so like I'll talk about U17, U20. I think they were like, I remember the field was only open at a certain time. Like it was between us and the boys, and they gave the boys the field or something like that. So, and we had like old uniforms or something like that. And then now when I went back, we have new uniforms now. And they redid the field, they were doing the federation, everything like that. So it just seemed like so much more put together and more organized and more support for the women's side and everything. Like there was photographers and videographers at our practices and stuff like that. So there seemed like there was more support for the women's side, which was awesome.
For sure. And then if you could talk to us about being called up last summer to the Guatemala national camp.
Yeah.
Like how was that?
Oh, it's so great. I mean, it's been a couple years, like I said, because of the whole federation and like the scandal and everything. Yeah, that stuff. So when they told me to come to LA, they were like, because I'm not from LA, I'm from Huntington Beach, which is like an hour away. So I was like, oh, I can definitely drive an hour and go try out and everything. And so I went, and I didn't know the coaches or anything because there's a whole new coaching staff. And I tried out, and they told me to come to Guatemala, and I was like. It was also a tough decision because I was training for my university, and the training camp was like the week before my preseason. Wow. And so I talked to my coach, and she was like, I don't know if you want to go. Like, what if you get hurt and then you're not going to be able to play for a season? Like, you better not get hurt when you go over there. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to get hurt. But I really wanted to go. I mean, the full team and everything, right? So I had to figure out where I was going to stay and logistics and stuff like that. And I had to figure out, because it was a training camp, so obviously like you needed to come in already be fit, so we didn't do like fitness or anything or like lifting. So me and Natalie Shops, like after practices, we would go, because we were both training for our university teams, we would go and do our own extra fitness, do our own extra lifting and stuff like that. So we had to get our own work in, but like once they told me that I made the team, like it was just so, I feel like it was just full circle for me because I've just been training since I was like 5 years old and playing since I was 5 years old, and then it was amazing. It was such an amazing feeling. I was so happy and so proud, and like I think like my university was obviously after I made it, my coach was like so happy for me, and they wrote like an article about it and stuff like that, and so it was just really awesome.
Most definitely. And then
also, sorry. No, also, I think it's important because I think like places like Guatemala and stuff aren't like the most notable countries, obviously, and it brings awareness to female sports in countries like this, and like I think it just helps because now like my university knows about like the Guatemalan women's national team, right? And they're like, wow, that's so cool, and then people read about it and just get like a broader knowledge, which could really help out the girls in the federation and the women who are playing there. So exactly. I think it's a really awesome thing.
For sure. And then, did you talk to the coach, obviously, last summer to maybe getting called up again, maybe in the future? Like, was there any talks between you and the coaches?
Yes. So they they told me, they called me up to play in the tournament, I think, like I said, in October. And then my discussion with my university coach, who wanted me to like stay and everything because it was my last season. And we had like a really important game against UVA, which was like they're number one. They were like number one in the country at that point. So she asked me to stay and stuff like that. But they called me up for that. I didn't go, and then we didn't end up qualifying. But hopefully, and then obviously now there's nothing really because of the World Cup. But hopefully after the World Cup, stuff will start being tournaments, and then they'll give me a call, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously playing at the University of Miami and playing for the Guatemalan national team, what difference is there? You know, because you get both perspectives, but what is the difference?
Yes. I think the style of play in America is different than Guatemala. A lot of American girls are just very built and very strong, very fast. They have skill, but they also rely a lot of like on athleticism. And I think in Guatemala, skill is what makes you the player you are. Like, not saying that the girls are not fast or not strong or nothing like that, but they are all very skillful. Like, you go and the girls could juggle for hours, do a bunch of different tricks, like so much stuff like that. They focus a lot on the ball work. And I feel like in America, it's more like you need to do sprints, you need to do lifting, and then we don't really focus a lot on the skill. So it was nice for me to go to Guatemala and develop my skill side of the game because that I think it's equally important. And I think you need to be able to know how to play soccer, not just run and stuff like that. So I feel like it's different in America than in other countries. I feel like a lot of girls notice that as well.
For sure. And then obviously being at a young age and playing the pre-World Cup qualifiers in Jamaica, like how was that experience? You know, because that's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, oh my God, I wish I could go back. It was so crazy because you got to go train. Like, you go train in Jamaica, and you got to be in Jamaica, which is like a great place to be. And you got to go train, and you got to play. Like, you're just playing soccer, which is the best thing that you could be doing. And you're just with your coaches and your teammates, and who are all like working towards one goal, you know. And you're representing your country, and it was one of the best times of my life, honestly. Like, I wish I could go back. It was so much fun. But yeah, it was an incredible experience.
For sure. What surprised you about Guatemala? Maybe soccer, or maybe the new culture that you were exposed to? You know, like, what surprised you?
I mean, what surprised me a little bit was the whole, when I first got there, was the whole, like, lack of support, I would say, for the women's side. Like, I feel like it was definitely the men's side was more favored. So that was kind of surprising, but I mean, it's not just Guatemala, it's obviously here in the US as well. It's around the whole world. So it's just, that was surprising but not surprising. But I mean, like I said, I've been to Guatemala a bunch of times before I went for training and stuff, so I wasn't really surprised by anything. I think, like I said, the skill part surprised me because in US, like, training, we would lift before practice and all this stuff, and in Guatemala we did that, but it was more focused on, like, we did a lot of skill-based drills, where in the US we didn't really do that.
For sure. And then was language a barrier? Because obviously you speak Spanish, but like, was it sometimes difficult to communicate with your teammates and coaches?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was younger, like when I was like my first time I went, I was definitely very, very nervous because I hadn't been to Guatemala in a while, and I was like, oh, what if none of the girls speak like any English, and I'm just, a spider, I'm just there or whatever. But like I said, a lot of the girls, or not a lot of girls, like Natalie and her sister, Anika Shaps, both were on the team, and they spoke English and Spanish. So if I didn't understand something, I would just be like, Natalie or Anika, like, because she played on the field, I was like, what did he say? Like, what do you want me to do? And the coaches were like super understanding. Like they never got mad at me or anything. And honestly, I don't remember ever being a problem. Like I think my first day I was nervous about it, and then it wasn't a problem. Like because like I said, like soccer is soccer. Like you know how to play, and that's about it. And then I just like adapted to it. I learned. I basically was there for a while, so I just learned a lot more Spanish and got more confident, I think, which was what I needed in my Spanish. And then the second time I went, I wasn't like a guy interviewed me, and I tried to do it in Spanish, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. But so
for sure. And then obviously being born in the United States, playing for Guatemala, and playing against the U.S. with the U17 and U20, like how was it playing against? I mean, we could say against your own country, for a different team. How was that?
It was like I said, like the first time when we played against U17, like I knew so many more of the girls on the team than U20, just because we played against a lot of the girls for club. Like the goalkeeper was actually one of my best friends.
Wow.
So after the game, like we gave each other like a huge hug, and it was like on camera and everything. But I definitely wanted to prove something because obviously the U.S. is one of the best in the world, and they know they're the best. They think they're the best. So you wanna do your best, and I wanted to prove that we're not just someone you can roll over, And like I said, I knew the coach at the time, PJ Snow, and I wanted to show him like we can hang with you guys, So that was definitely something. I mean, it was really cool to play against your friend, Obviously in like one of the top levels. And the U20, I didn't know as many girls. I knew one of the girls I played with in high school, Maddie Bauer, and I knew I think one of the other girls. But like I said, I played against Lindsay Horan, who's now like on the full national team. So stuff like that. So it was just a really great experience. You're playing against top girls. Like it's just, you can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, and then what do you think Guatemala, for the women's side, has to improve, to get to that next level, experiencing obviously a lot different in out here in the United States, but what do you think Guatemala has to do to grow?
Yeah, I think, well, like I said, in the U.S., they kind of focus on everything, not just soccer. They focus on, we do a lot of conditioning, we do a lot of lifting, we do a lot of mental health preparation, we do a lot of nutrition, stuff like that. So I think, and when I trained in Guatemala, from what I saw, we just focused on skill, which I think is super important. But I think that fitness is definitely also a key part of the game. So doing more fitness. I mean, no one likes to do sprints, but you have to do it. And the more fit you get, the easier it gets. So you need to be fit in order to play a 90-minute game against the U.S. Like you're not going to play the U.S. and beat them off skill alone because they're athletic, they're fit, they're fast, they're strong. Like you need to be able to keep up with them in that aspect. And then I think like nutrition is also a really important factor because what you put in your body fuels your body. So that's something I learned through like my university. We would have every like Wednesday we'd have our nutritionist come in and talk to us. And it was eye-opening for all of us because we'd be doing stuff that's like bad for your body and just makes you slower and stuff like that. So I think that's an important thing. And then like lifting, I think is important. I don't think you need to like lift heavy, but it just makes you stronger so you don't get pushed off the ball, especially when you're playing. Because I noticed like a lot of the Guatemalan girls are like a little bit shorter. Yeah. So when you're playing against girls who are taller, 6 foot, and you can't get pushed off the ball. So you got to be at least somewhat strong. For
sure. And if you could talk to us about meeting Paul Pogba, that was crazy too, I imagine.
Yes. So like I said, being in Miami, I've had such a great opportunities, and Paul Pogba came to one of our practices, and our coach was like, "Oh, Pogba's coming to our practice." I was like, no way, that's so sick. And that was before France won the World Cup, obviously, wow. But, I mean, still a world-class player. Yeah. And he was, like, training on the side over there, and then my coach was like, we're going to ask him to come over. So we asked him to come over, and I don't think he spoke very much English, but he was, like, trying to talk to us. And then they did, like, a group photo, and then I brought my phone out secretly because I wanted a selfie. Yeah. And I was like, I brought out one of my cleats and my other cleats, and I was like, can you sign my cleat? And then I got a selfie. Wow. And so, like, only, like, me and two other girls got selfies, and I just stuff signed because we weren't supposed to bring our phones out to practice, but I was like, I'm not missing this opportunity. Like, I'm getting my cleat signed and this picture. So, yeah, it was awesome. Like, yeah, no, we've had who else came to our... I feel like someone else came to who was training. I don't know who else. I mean, like, a lot of famous, our school is really good for their sports medicine. Yeah. So a lot of people come to do rehab. So that's why Pogba was there. He was doing rehab. Yeah. So Serena Williams has been in our training room. A lot of football players, like the 49ers, got ready for the what's it called? Super Bowl in our training room and stuff like that. So it's been nice, I would say, having a lot of people go in the training room.
And obviously being an intern at Inter Miami, have you spoken to David Beckham? Have you talked to him?
Yes. So my job is like a videographer, so I film a lot of stuff. Yeah. So he came to like the stadium opening in Fort Lauderdale, and I got to film it. I was so like lucky enough, my boss let me film it. So he is one of the nicest humans I have ever met in my entire life. Like, wow. For the amount of how famous he is, and his like, humble. He's an icon. He's so humble. He spoke to every single person, like genuinely, and he's just an incredible guy. But yeah, he comes to our office sometimes, and like I was lucky enough to film him a couple times, and he talks to us and stuff like that. So he's not just he's not a, I don't want to say a bad word. He's not arrogant at all. He's very, very humble, so nice, and he's great. He was watching. He came to our office once. And he put on the TV and was just watching football on the TV, and we're just like, I'm like doing my work. I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Have you ever taken like a picture with him, or is that like prohibited?
I can't, because you can't like
right?
fan.
Yeah.
You can't fangirl or whatever. So I'm working on to try to get a picture, but I have a picture of me behind, like, filming him. Yeah. So I'm, like, in the background filming him, but we don't have a picture together. Right. But hopefully soon. Yeah. I mean, so we were going to have our opening game, like, right before quarantine closed, so I definitely would have got a picture with him then, because he would have taken a picture with all of us. But basically I'm the person taking the picture in the videos, so, yeah. So, but it's been cool. Yeah, it's been really cool.
And obviously, you graduate in May. You told me that you want to play in England professionally, and then obviously the broadcaster thing as well. But so what will happen after graduation? Tough decision, I imagine.
Yeah. So right now, my plan before COVID, my plan was to graduate in May and continue working at Inter Miami until August, and then I'm gonna go to London to play. There's like a university in London where I can play and also get my master's. So get my master's and play, and then I can try out for a professional team and get an agent and try out. The professional team would be West Ham. So try out for them, see how that goes. The master's program is only a year. Yeah. So even if I don't make that team, I can still play with the university and then finish my master's, get my master's, and then try to play professionally on another team in Europe. So that's my plan. That was my plan, or is my plan right now. But hopefully nothing gets pushed back, and it's still the plan.
Yeah, and we wish you the best of luck with that as well.
Yes, thank you.
For sure. To finalize the interview, Lauren, if you could give us a message in Spanish to the Guatemalan fans that possibly might not know you, but now throughout this interview they will know you. But if you could give us a message to the fans.
Oh gosh, now I'm nervous. So thank you so much for supporting us, and we hope you guys continue to support the women's side of the game, because we need your guys' support. We need the fans, and we continue to hope to make you guys proud and support our country and represent you guys and keep winning a lot of games. So vamos Guate.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Lauren, so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. It was nice meeting you as well. And hopefully we could see you play in England, get your master's, become the broadcaster you want to become, and play back for the Guatemalan national team. And thank you so much. God bless you and your family.
Thank you. You too. God bless.
Thank you for watching my video. If you guys could share it with your family members and friends, that would be much appreciated. To all the people around the world who watch my videos, thank you so much. If you could like and subscribe to my channel, I would love that a lot. Until next time, thank you.